Hey legends, welcome along to a new video. We're getting into more of this indie creator mindset in this episode, and something that I want you to remember getting into this right off the bat from the very beginning is that no one is going to want this as much as you. You really need to think from day one about how you can build something that is sustainable on your own without having to depend on other people. Big mistake I made at the very beginning. We started out doing some videos on YouTube that were very team based, and that worked for quite a while back in the day, but it wasn't sustainable because guys were getting into this here for the sake of, I want to try this, it'll be a bit of fun. But whenever you get into this sort of thing and you start to realise that yes, there is a fun element, you need to keep a fun element to it to keep it going. You know, for a lot of people, once they realise that it's not all fun and games, there's quite a bit of work involved in here as well, more work than they're actually expecting, and that is something that I see across the board in different aspects of this here. But once they start realising that and start to think of it as a job more than something that should be fun for them, they start to drop off after a bit. Now the downside to that is, if you make that mistake and you're creating something that is dependent on these other people always been there with you to keep it going, you know, once they decide that screw this, I can't be bothered, you're going to find it pretty difficult to keep the thing going. Example of which, and this is a story that I have kept to myself. I am not huge on massive confrontations. If I can avoid it, I'd avoid an argument if possible. But this is something that happened. I was out one evening, going back quite a long time ago now, and there was a guy I came across who I don't even really know his name. He's one of these faces that you'd have met and if you're out with a bunch of friends, and he was one of these familiar people that was just kind of one of these background guys, you know, just you're out and they're there, you come across them once in a while. But I come across him one night anyway, and having a little chat, more or less, just passing each other, like, yeah, how you doing? Haven't seen you in a long time, are you keeping well? All this sort of stuff. And I came around to the whole video thing, and he says, are you still making videos? And I'm like, of course I'm making videos. Like, I thought you were subscribed to the channel. And it's not this channel or any of the current channels I'm running. That was a previous channel where all this teamwork was going on. And he's like, no, I didn't. I unsubscribed. I haven't followed the videos since you took over. And I'm like, what do you mean I took over? Now I'm not going to say the name of the guy that was involved in the videos, just for the fact that you know, I'm extremely loyal to a fault, and even now in this situation and what happened then pissed me off royally at the time when I heard it. But this guy was like, no, I unsubscribed since you took over making the videos. And I'm like, I've always made the videos. I'm like, everything that you've seen coming from us from day one, I've been the guy behind it. I put all the money, I've bought all the equipment, the editing computers, all that sort of stuff, put the thing together, got it shot, got it edited, put it out there. Like, it was me from day one. I was like, what makes you think that I've taken over from someone else? So it turns out one of these other guys that was involved in the early videos, the teamwork sort of stuff that we were doing, was pretty much, it was very much on the screen at the start. See, the idea was, whenever I started out, was we got together to make these videos. to give me footage to practice on, because I was interested in getting into making videos for weddings and events, that sort of thing. But being self-taught, I didn't want to go book a job, get there, realise I can't film, edit or upload, you know, that sort of stuff. So it was all to get me practice. So for the longest time at the very beginning, I was always the guy behind the camera, but I was always the guy that was putting the thing together, editing it, putting it out there. But it turns out one of these guys was, and I don't know if he was really going out of his way to say this, but the impression was that the videos were his. So I don't know if this was an idea that this guy had taken, or it was an idea that this guy put in his head. Either way, it sucked to hear that. So so there's an example for you. Like, somebody is involved in your videos, they try to take the credit for the content that you're creating, and then you lose a subscriber. And the case of this guy is like, no, you know, since you took over in his mind, you were on screen more than anything else. I was in it for this other character. But you know, the thing that stuck out to me was, maybe it was on his part, something that he just had assumed. But at the same time, I'm thinking, you know, this other guy was more friendly with this kid than I was. So even if this guy had that idea of a complete mistake, this other guy chose not to correct him on the thing. So there's an example of you know, what can happen whenever someone just decides that, because this guy just disappeared, hasn't been involved in the work for quite a few years now. And even those first videos, like we did like 50 of them, then just overnight him and a couple of other guys involved just like went on to do their other things, and left me on my own. So it's one of these things that you really need to keep in mind at the very beginning. It's like, nobody's going to want it as much as you want it, and they're not going to be as, you know, committed to the whole thing really at the end of the day. So you need to be creating something that you can maintain on your own without the help of anyone else. So keep that in mind as you know, a little precautionary tale. I'll talk to you in the next video.